All right, hey guys, welcome back to some more Planet Zoo. So, it has been a really long time since I played Planet Zoo. I've just recently got back into it. It's been about, I think, maybe like a week or so since I've been getting back into it. And as you can see, things look a lot different with our zoo than they did where we last left off in the last episode. So I made an update video, but I didn't upload it because, for one thing, it was with the old zoo and there was no fixing it. And it was basically just me telling you guys that I'm probably going to give up because there's no way I can complete this scenario. But now I have restarted the zoo once again. And as you can see, we are on the gold thing here, the little gold objective. And we've got a lot more done than we did last time. So today's episode is going to be kind of a little update so I can show you guys what's going on in the zoo and kind of just get a good look at what's going on, basically. And we can kind of figure out where we go from here because everything's pretty much different than it was last time. So I restarted the zoo again. As you can see, last episode, we were over here. And let me just do something real quick so that we can get this disease taken care of. Alright, so last episode we were over here. And I had 2 exhibits left to put in to make it to, what was it? How many did we need? 10. Yeah, I had 2 more that I was going to put in, but there was a couple of other things that I couldn't finish, like these right here, especially the plant diversity one. I had no idea how to do that one, and so I debated continuing on, but there was no way I was going to be able to complete the thing. There's no way. I tried, but there's no way I was going to be able to complete it. It was just going to make me have to start over again. So the only thing that I could do was I went to a tutorial online and watched a walkthrough and basically did everything one for one that the tutorial did. Mine might look a tiny bit different than that, but it's pretty much the same. So I don't remember the name of the person that I watched a walkthrough of, but I'll try to remember to link it. I'll link it in the description so you can check it out and see for yourself if you're having trouble with this zoo, because this zoo is pretty hard. It's pretty hard to complete. I will say that. It's very hard to complete. And I'm on easy mode, you guys. I'm on easy mode and it's still very hard to complete. So basically, we started out with the timber wolves here. This was our first one that we put in, our first habitat. So we put in the timber wolves over here, and they had a few pups, and then one of them is like getting older, so I put in another one. I put in a female to kind of continue on, because in the end we're gonna have to release them into the wild, I believe, right? Yes, release 4 into the wild, and I only had 3, so I wanted to make sure that I had enough to release into the wild in case something happened to the elderly one and I wasn't able to release it in time. But I started here with the timber wolves, and then next was the red panda exhibit. So put in the red pandas here and figured out that you need to do a lot of research. So all of my research for pretty much every single animal is gold, because I let it go ahead and research all the way through before I canceled and went to the next animal. And I only did the flamingos because we're getting towards the end here, and I wanted to make sure that I got some more enrichment for them because their enrichment wasn't as high. Having their enrichment really high does help, very helpful. It's something that I also learned while doing this. I learned a lot, basically. I learned a lot doing this scenario with them. I'm going to say we, because I basically, like I said, went through and did everything like they did. So next, I believe, was the Garl exhibit that we did. And I followed the tutorial like they did. And turns out, you guys, you know that I've been doing the Garl stuff. I believe I had one in my zoo whenever I was trying to do it. But they kept escaping. And I could not figure out how and why they were escaping. I don't know what was going on. I put a freaking brick wall in the water, but they kept escaping for some reason. Turns out all you had to do was put a chain link fence in. Like, that's literally all you had to do. And also, on the habitats, there is this little thing here, over here. I didn't even notice this before. I guess I'd forgot. I remember doing it at one point or another, but I forgot. The climb proof thing is definitely something you need to do as well. I put it on both sides just so that it would be completely covered. And you can tell if it has the climb proof wall on it because it'll have these little metal things up here at the top, as you can see. And that'll mean that it's climb proof and you can't climb over it, which is super helpful. I didn't even realize that in the beginning, so I'm glad that that worked out. And I figured out, again, chain link fencing, they can't swim under it apparently, but they can swim under a brick wall. Kind of makes no sense, but whatever. Anyway, after that, I went over and we have, I think this was next, this was the buffalo exhibit that I did next. And at that point in time, we had a bunch of enrichment items that were from different animals, but it ended up being enough to kind of help along with the buffalo exhibit. We got the African buffaloes here. Those were what we put in next. Basically what we did was we kind of used the area here that we had, the land, to put land animals on, and the ones that needed a lot of water, kind of just halfway put them off in this water area here, because it doesn't specify that you have to use water animals. It just says that a lot of the animals in the animal trading do tend to take water, and when you're first starting out, you really need some water to kind of help them with their overall habitat stuff being raised up to like where it needs to be. Of course, with the silver, you guys know we had to put in the exhibits. I know I get those confused a lot when it says habitat, exhibit, whatever. We had to put in 4 of those, so I did this here. Well, we did this here. I copied off of them and did this one. And put in these exhibits here for the animals. We got a tiger beetle and a Goliath frog. Or no, Titan beetle. And then we were only supposed to put in 4, but they put in 5 for some reason. So I just put in 5 as well. There's one here, the little snake, and then we built on up here a second level, the last 2. So this is something that I learned a lot with these shops and stuff. This is actually really useful. We learned how to make this sort of like little area where people could go and use the bathroom, get a seat, sit down, and buy all their stuff that they need while still getting a nice view because the scenery looks pretty good. And then up top, you can put buildings on top of each other, which I knew that, but I could never get them to work out right. So we put the exhibits on top and then added another little area up here. And this is also useful as well for the staff buildings. So originally they started out building the staff building right here. And this staff building was all built, and I kind of copied, I tried my best to copy it as well as I could. But this was the main one that started it. And what I noticed was when they were placing the staff buildings, they had a bunch of pathing that led to one direction, and like literally no guests go this way. If there's no animals down towards it, no guests go this way. You can put staff areas here and they won't walk by it, and it won't affect them at all. It won't affect the guests, because as you can see, they'll just go straight. They won't go over this way because this is all caretaker areas. And what we've done is we put in the pathing up here, which actually will help because you go around the exhibit and you can put a little ledge, which will help them be able to see the animals better, because a lot of the guests usually like a good view of the animals. So you can kind of avoid the whole guests don't like the way this looks type of thing. If you put a raised path, you kind of put the staff entrance underneath it, and then the staff areas are kind of hidden off away, but still don't look like ugly buildings. Because for me, I would usually just go ahead and grab a staff building like this one that was already kind of made up and has like a outside on it. But they were using a lot of these regular ones, which were kind of ugly. And I get why you use them. It's because they're cheaper and they're better to use than just the regular ones. And first, when you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money. As you can see now, we are not strapped for cash though. We have a lot of cash and it just keeps going up. So we're doing something right apparently. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We put in the camel exhibit, added some bears over here. The tapirs are way back here, but as you can see, some guests are still coming around to this area, and we could probably build on from here, which that's going to be what I'm going to pretty much tell you guys about next, is the tutorial that I'm using to get through the scenario. I'm still using it, so I'm going to complete this, but I'm going to complete it probably off screen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to record me completing the scenario, and then we're going to go back through it whenever I upload it and talk about what all I did in each of the episodes, because it takes me literally hours to get through those videos and make everything look pretty similar to what they did, and it still doesn't look exactly the same, but I'm trying to just do the best I can with it. So a big thing that I learned, another thing I learned, the plant diversity. So as you can see, what they've done on every single habitat, and this is what kind of took me a long time to complete, was on every single habitat they've got these rocks that they added in, which rocks don't really add anything to the plant diversity or anything like that. They're just for aesthetics only, so it's not really nothing to worry about. They just did it, I guess, to make it look pretty, which I understand. Sometimes you want your zoo to look good. I didn't really pay much attention to that and really cared about it, because all I wanted to do was just get the zoo to, like, you know, be complete. I wanted to complete the scenario. I wasn't worried about how it looked. But the plant diversity thing is basically placing different forms of the same plants. So not just placing the same ones over and over and over again. That doesn't matter. You need to place different kinds. So like you see, I've got a scaevola bush. I've got the common reed stand. I've got the bracken too. And then I've also got down here, I can't click on it, the cordyline plant. And then a coastal mangrove tree. Just like different kinds of plants. Not just one kind. So like if I was to take this and just duplicate it and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and just keep placing these same ones in there, it would not help me with my plant diversity at all. The only thing that helps with the plant diversity is putting in different plants. So for example, like if you're in the Asian biome with Tagia, temperate, and aquatic or whatever, you use all of these, but you don't have to use them all. You just kind of use a variety. So you could use a cherry blossom tree, and then use a common ash tree, and then use a common reed stand. You know, just not like using one thing. And that helps your plant diversity quite a bit. So that's what helped me out a lot. And as you can see, our plant diversity is, well, it doesn't say, but it's over 30. It was at like 99%, basically. I followed the tutorial to like the whole way, and it was pretty much like 100% plant diversity over all of the habitats, not just 7, like all of them. So that helped me quite a bit. And now the only thing that we have left to do is we have to get the habitat average species overall welfare to 85, which as you can see, we've already completed that. We are at 95. We just need 10 exhibit species, and we have 9, so I'll be putting in another one, of course. And then you have to have at least 13 in the zoo, so obviously you just gotta put them in. They don't have to be happy or anything like that, but of course that's what we're gonna do, is make them happy and make everything good. And then release the timber wolves into the wild, and we will finally have completed this scenario. So what I've been working on as of late is this new area down here. So this was the most recent thing that I did, well, we did. This one I'm actually pretty proud of, because this one was pretty much like 1 for 1 with theirs. Well, this here I'm kind of angry about and I got frustrated with, but this here was 1 for 1 pretty much what they did, and it looks fantastic. So they expanded down this way to put in a couple more exhibits. So what we have is the flamingos over here, because I didn't even notice this, but apparently there's a big body of water over on this side of the zoo as well, and I didn't even think this was part of the zoo, so I didn't think you could use it. But yeah, we put in some flamingos over here, and then the Nile monitor is over here. And everything's really looking good. The whole entire zoo is looking great. I've got staff here. Ooh, that's another thing I need to tell you guys about, is the staff stuff, because that helped me out quite a bit. So I'm gonna put someone down here though, so we can get you cleaning up. Also, I've got mechanic research going on. I've got vet research going on. Oh yes, am I still doing mechanic? No, I'm not. Okay. Well, they did a lot of mechanic research as well. I never do this stuff. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but I'm trying to remember everything that I did off screen so that I can kind of update you guys. So they did a lot of mechanic stuff. Got some extra souvenir shops, some shelters and climbing, which I'm guessing gives you more items, as you can see. And we got some barriers, which would give you new whatchamacallits, new barriers, whatever. Just all this different stuff that we did mechanic research on. That was actually pretty interesting. I never do anything like that before, but it actually helped out quite a bit doing that. And then the vet research we did. I'm constantly doing vet research all the time. But the big thing that I learned, which has helped me out quite a bit, is the work zones. So I never ever use work zones when I'm playing these things because I don't really understand how they work. So I did learn how the work zones actually work, and it actually helped me quite a bit. I couldn't believe how great work zones actually were. I was kind of like astonished as to why I would have so many of these red things popping up. Like, you guys remember over here, the zoo alerts and the animal alerts. I would have so many of those all the time. Animals would be dying. Animals would be, like, just getting sick all the time. And it was just so weird as to why this stuff kept happening over and over and over again. And I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure it out. I was trying to figure out why it kept happening, but I couldn't. So what they ended up doing was, after they had created their facilities and stuff, they made a work zone for it. So as you can see, I think the first one we did was this one, the vendors, the entrance. So we put in our area up here, and it gave us the vendors. And if you can see the work zone, the vendors all work in here, in these green ones. And then the blue one is like a staff room. So basically they only go to the vendors, and then when they're done or they need a break, they go to the staff room. They don't wander around everywhere. People don't lose their stuff, and it helps quite a bit, especially with like the keeper stuff. So as you can see, we've got 2 exhibits in this keeper area. These keepers are only supposed to do these 2 exhibits, and this is their keeper hut and their rest area over here. And as you can see, I've got them all mapped out. So we have, like, how many keepers? 5 keepers taking care of all of these exhibits, and it helps out a lot because it's literally saved me. It saved me so much by doing it like that. I will probably always do that now. I never did it before, but I will probably always do it now because it helped out immensely, and I am just so happy that I'm able to be able to get this scenario finished. I'm telling you right now, I'm finishing it. It's the last thing I do. I'm gonna use that walkthrough. I appreciate whoever did that walkthrough so freaking much. Shout out to them. Definitely gonna put their link in the description once again so you guys can check them out. This is what the zoo currently looks like right now. Once we get finished with the whole thing, then we will finally have completed this scenario, and I'm so happy that we are finally going to be able to complete the scenario, because I pretty much am ready to finish Planet Zoo, and I think it was this one and maybe one more that we had to do before we completed the whole entire game, like the career mode, and I was just really ready to give up, but I'm so glad I didn't, because this turned out great. I learned a lot, I got a lot of experience from it, and now I'll remember it and be able to use it the next time that I go into the next scenario, which I'm pretty sure we do have another one. So let me just go to the main menu real quick, because I want to make sure before we end off the episode that that's the last one. Okay, there's 2 more. Alright, so once we complete this one, we can go to the Yamaguchi Prefecture Tranquility Zoo, and then the last leg will be the last zoo that we will do. And I am ready to complete the zoo. I'm ready to complete it. There's these timed trials here, which there's no way I want to do those. I'm just saying, there's no way I want to do those at all. But that's going to do it for me, you guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed my little update video. If you did, then be sure to check out the next one. We're going to come into the next episode, and we are going to finish up this zoo once and for all. So again, I'll be doing the walkthrough. I'll link the walkthrough for you so you can check it out. And that's it. Until the next episode, whenever we finally get into it in the next episode, I will complete the scenario and we will finally be able to move on from the Nevada Eco Zoo. But that's it for me, you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.